And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Let's get there. With your help, I will. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share with your family and your friends because the stupidity, it never ends. Meanwhile, yesterday, our favorite bullshit Barbie was back in her dream house of a press briefing room. Now, I think she should actually read the Constitution. I'd like to say reread the Constitution, but that presumes that she's even read it once. And I want her to do it over the weekend. Why? Because she continuously tries to claim that judges have no place in the presidential decision-making process. And she's wrong. Play the clip.
Tariffs. The courts should have no role here. There is a troubling and dangerous trend of unelected judges inserting themselves into the presidential decision-making process. America cannot function if President Trump, or any other president for that matter, has their sensitive diplomatic or trade negotiations railroaded by activist judges. President Trump is in the process of rebalancing America's trading agreements with the entire world, bringing tens of billions of dollars in tariff revenues to our country, and finally ending the United States of America from being ripped off. These judges are threatening to undermine the credibility of the United States on the world stage. The administration has already filed an emergency motion for a stay pending appeal and an immediate administrative stay to strike down this egregious decision. But ultimately, the Supreme Court must put an end to this for the sake of our Constitution and our country.
Now, you've heard me say how many times that they're all on such perfect message, which they are. Clearly, Stephen Miller or somebody else wrote this. Barbie didn't do it, that I can assure you. And let me also assure you of something else. The United States of America is turning 250 years of age. We have gone prior to Donald Trump, 46 presidents before him. And somewhere along the line, the tripartite system of government, the co-equal branches, executive branch, the legislative branch, and oh yeah, the judiciary have all somehow managed to work in concert and has not destroyed this country, as bullshit Barbie likes to say. It's absolutely not true. What Trump is looking to do is to take all the power. It's called executive power grab. That's what he's looking to do. He wants to stifle both the legislative branch and the judiciary, confer all power to himself, namely making him a king. That's what you want? Well, sure. Just the problem is wrong country. Meanwhile, mimicking her dear leader, she goes on and she rants about the radical judges and the judicial overreach. Play that clip.
Last night, the Trump administration faced another example of judicial overreach. Using his full and proper legal authority, President Trump imposed universal tariffs and reciprocal tariffs on Liberation Day to address the extraordinary threat to our national security and economy posed by large and persistent annual U.S. goods trade deficits. The United States has run a trade deficit of goods every year since 1975. In 2024, our trade deficit in goods exceeded $1 trillion. Everybody agrees this is unacceptable. President Trump is delivering on his promise to fix this problem, and he has taken a long overdue and much needed bold stance for American workers after decades of our manufacturing base being hollowed out.
Okay, let me be very clear once again. Bullshit Barbie needs this weekend to read the Constitution. It's not a very thick document, right? She could do it over the course of a weekend. Maybe somebody could even read it to her as like a bedtime story. Article 1 of the Constitution. Article 1. That's all she has to start off with. The power to tariff rests with Congress, not with the executive branch. So when she comes out with the emphatic statement that he has every legal right to do so, no, he does not. No, he does not. Now, Peter Doocy made an incredibly interesting point. Trump continued to be in court for violating laws. So why doesn't he just, I don't know, change the law? Play that clip.
So the courts are basically telling you guys they think that the White House's policies, the president's policies, are in some way against the law. So why can't President Trump ask the Republicans that control the House and the Republicans that control the Senate just to make a new law?
Well, these laws have already been granted to the president by the Constitution and by laws that have been previously passed. I'll give you another example. For instance, we've been blocked in court for the revocation of visas from individuals who have the privilege of studying in the United States of America. Secretary of State Rubio has simply used his authority to revoke those visas, to revoke that privilege, and we've seen the courts try to block that. So if these judges want to be the Secretary of State or they want to be the president, they can run for office themselves. It should be the other way around. But all of the actions the president has taken rely on legal authorities that have already been granted to him by our nation's existing laws.
And on a different...
Yeah. By the way, where was the follow-up, Pete? Where was the follow-up? First of all, she conflated two different issues. One, the issue with the court is about due process. Okay? The second part, she's correct about. The Secretary of State has absolutely the right within which to revoke visas. Now, are you supposed to revoke them based upon cause? Absolutely. Do you have now a rogue Secretary of State who's willing to do whatever his dear leader says? Absolutely you do. Is there an issue with that? Sure there is. But Rubio is acting within his authority. But that's not what the cases are about. The cases are about due process. Now, a reporter goes and asks Karoline about potential trade deals, because why would countries want to work with us? Play the clip.
And on tariffs, Kevin Hassett earlier this morning, he brushed off, I believe, legal ruling and called it a hiccup. And he said that trade deal negotiations would continue. Why would other countries continue these trade deal negotiations given the ruling?
Because other countries around the world have faith in the negotiator-in-chief, President Donald J. Trump. And they also probably see how ridiculous this ruling is, and they understand that the administration is going to win, and we intend to win. We already filed an emergency appeal. We expect to fight this battle all the way to the Supreme Court. These other countries should also know, and they do know, that the president reserves other tariff authorities, Section 232, for example, to ensure that America's interests are being restored around the world. But I can confirm that our ambassador for trade, Jamison Greer, already heard from countries around the world this morning who said they intend to continue with these negotiations. Peter.
Yeah. Again, talk about conflating multiple different issues. She's wrong. She's wrong. And she's wrong. Meanwhile, another reporter then brought up some drama regarding the Maha Commission report and AI. Play that clip.
Thanks so much, Karoline. A notice investigation found that the Hallmark Maha Commission report that was released last week cites studies that appear to not exist. We know that because, in part, we reached out to some of the listed authors who said that they didn't write the studies cited. So I want to ask, does the White House have confidence that the information coming from HHS can be trusted?
Yes, we have complete confidence in Secretary Kennedy and his team at HHS. I understand there were some formatting issues with the Maha report that are being addressed, and the report will be updated, but it does not negate the substance of the report, which, as you know, is one of the most transformative health reports that has ever been released by the federal government, and is backed on good science that has never been recognized by the federal government.
And a quick follow-up, can you talk about what tools or research goes into production of these kinds of reports? For instance, is it AI that's used to put together these reports now?
I can't speak to that. I would defer you to the Department of Health and Human Services. What I know is just what I told you.
Okay. Let me be very clear about something. You can't make the statement that it's predicated on good science when the science doesn't exist. It's AI generated. All right. It's what happens. And I, unfortunately, many of you know this. I went through this where I got the citations wrong because I used AI in order to assist my lawyer when we put out a certain document asking for my suspension of my supervised release, which is historically granted. The judge, Jesse Furman, went ballistic, even though he never caught it. We caught it, we retracted it, and we gave him the correct citations. Here, they're predicating an entire study that HHS is basic knowledge doesn't exist. So they're making rulings, they're making decisions regarding our health off of studies that just never took place. Meanwhile, Karoline, she touts the idea that the big, beautiful bill is not going to increase the deficit. Another bullshit story. Play that clip.
Analysis that growth will average 3% in the long run after the One Big Beautiful Bill is passed, which is nearly double the ridiculous CBO projection. This higher growth would result in $4.1 trillion in additional revenue over the next 10 years. Between the common sense spending reforms contained in the One Big Beautiful Bill and the robust economic growth that will be generated as a result of it, there will be no increase to the deficit. The same analysis from the CEA shows just how this historic package will unleash prosperity and ignite a blue-collar boom across America.
Yeah, again, just wait. Mark my words, because you're going to be with me here, whether it's 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, but it'll be short. It'll be a shorter term than what bullshit Barbie thinks. Let me be very clear. Nothing that she's saying has any accuracy to it all. There's no manufacturing being constructed right now across the United States at levels never seen before, as touted by our leader. All right. It doesn't exist. It's not happening. There's even something, as you all know, called a permitting process. You just don't go ahead and put a shovel in the ground unless it's ceremonial. And that's what they're talking about. It just isn't happening, and it just doesn't exist. Meanwhile, Leavitt then spoke about Elon Musk's departure, saying that all the cabinet members now will become new Doge leaders. Play that clip.
Doge, we know that Elon Musk is leaving. Do you have an updated leadership structure for who is leading the group? Is Russ Vought involved? And what is its new mission now, if any?
Well, the entire cabinet is involved, and I spoke to the president about it this morning, and the entire cabinet understands the need to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse, and each cabinet secretary at their respective agencies is committed to that. That's why they were working hand in hand with Elon Musk, and they'll continue to work with the respective Doge employees who have onboarded as political appointees at all of these agencies. So surely the mission of Doge will continue, and many Doge employees are now political appointees and employees of our government, and to the best of my knowledge, all of them intend to stay and continue this important work.
Is there a Doge leader taking the place of Mr. Musk?
Well, again, the Doge leaders are each and every member of the president's cabinet and the president himself, who is wholeheartedly committed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from our government. Michael.
Well, if he wants to, okay, thank you for calling on me there, Karoline. Let me just turn around and say this. If the president wants to start with fraud, waste, and abuse, let's just use the word abuse, how about stop playing golf every single day? It's already cost the United States taxpayers well over $50 million. How about just start with that? And finally, I want to end on a clip that is beyond stupid. I mean, even made me blush how stupid it is. Karoline brings up Dr. Jill Biden. Play the clip.
They were just on The View last week. She was saying everything is fine. She's still lying to the American people. She still thinks the American public are so stupid that they're going to believe her lies. And frankly, it's insulting, and she needs to answer for it. Ouija.
Thank you, Karoline.
Right. Talk about deflection. That's why I constantly say to everybody, please share this with your friends and your family. Share it with everybody that you know. Help to build a community. This nonsense, it has to stop. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.